I have a major problem right now. I am falling out of love with my favorite games. And yes, I'm being serious. You just finished playing a game and you're wondering what to play next. You look at your Steam library, you look at your game shelf, try and figure out what to play. And you think to yourself, oh, I should play one of my all time favorite games. And for this example, I'll say Elden Ring. So you grab it off the shelf, you plug the disc in, and you hit new game, and off you go. You do the tutorial stuff, maybe some early game progress. And about 40 minutes later, you're bored and you have no idea what to do and you want to stop playing. It's like you did the early game stuff. What are you supposed to do now? Kill a boss? No. You're bored, so you stop playing the game and then you never touch it again for a couple months. This exactly happened to me a few months ago after I finished doing my first run of Pokemon Emerald. Played Elden Ring for a bit, did a new save file, just trying to play casually. However, I could not play over 40 minutes. I love Elden Ring. It is one of my favorite games of all time. My first playthrough has over 130 hours before the DLC. And the DLC adds like another 40 hours to that. And I've only done about 5 different playthroughs so far, just different builds and one shield only run. And I've had a great time doing all of those. But when I tried to do my most recent run, it did not go well. I could not play for more than an hour, which sucks. I want to be able to enjoy the game again. I started thinking about the last time I played my favorite games and realized I had this similar issue, which I hate now. Now that I'm looking back at it, I'm like, it's such a terrible issue to have, not being able to enjoy your favorite games properly anymore. So I started thinking, which a good chunk of the time I tried to avoid, on ways how I could fix this. And I think I got it. And I'll go through what I found with the game I'm currently doing this with, Zelda Breath of the Wild. Last time I played it, I was doing a master mode run, try and beat the game, just play casually. And then after being like the second Divine Beast, I just stopped playing it. I was like, well, there's nothing else to do from this point onwards. It's just the combat loop. Kind of. Mostly. So my current run, so far, has lasted a lot longer and has been far more enjoyable because of these steps I've taken. Now, there are 5 main parts to my whole process that I'll go through one by one, and I'll explain them as I get to them. But the first one is the most obvious. Up the difficulty. You play a game a couple times, you get good, so you up the difficulty to make stuff harder. Make enemies hit harder, make you take more damage, maybe make stuff more hidden, harder to get to, stuff like that. It's great. Now, obviously, this only applies to games that have difficulty options, but there's not much else you can do. So for Zelda, I've been playing on Master Mode for my run, which makes all the enemies hit a lot harder, I do less damage, and they also regenerate pretty quickly, which makes fighting stuff so much more annoying. But hey, it's working so far. And now that's only the first part. The second part is the most prominent part. Restrictions. Now this may sound like doing a challenge run or something like that, but it's not. That's not what I mean. This is about limiting access to high level equipment in other areas or locations that you always go to grab stuff. So for my run, I'm completely making the locations Mount Satori and the Colosseum completely off limits. The Colosseum has excellent weapons that you can get to really quickly since we're just right next to the Great Plateau. And the mobs themselves, you could easily get them to drop their weapons and just take them all. And for Mount Satori, I always go there for food. I just go to the apple trees, blow them all up, grab all the apples, and then I got my food for like most of the game. So I'm completely banning those 2 locations. And I'm also banning some other smaller locations that also have some easy to access equipment, like the Royal Greatsword on top of the tower with the skull. Not going there, I'm never going to use that sword. And I'm also banning the Barbarian and Phantom Armor. They are really easy to get to, and they also offer an attack buff, so they're completely off limits. And that's it for completely banning stuff outright. Now, the next part is to progress lock some of the locations and tools in the game. So for me, I've decided to progress lock the Great Fairies. I chose to make it so that once I beat the second Divine Beast, I unlock one fairy, beat the third, unlock the second fairy, and so on. This is because some of the armor equipment is really easy to upgrade, and if you get them too early, you don't really have to worry about getting hit ever again. So I'm putting that off for a long time. And the final restriction I've put on myself is to use the best weapon I have. Now, this only works because I'm playing Zelda with the weapon breaking mechanic. So if you're doing this with any other game, you might want to do something else. And you might be thinking, oh, won't that make the game easier? Yes and no. Like, sure, it's nicer to do more damage to mobs, but I'm one of the players that will put off using the strong weapons for later and then never end up using them. So not this time. There's no for later. And so whatever has the highest damage, I'm using that one at the moment. Oh, and almost forgot, obviously, no glitches, no wind bombing or anything like that. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. And also avoid Googling stuff. You hit a puzzle and, give it a try at first. If you really do get stuck and you're having trouble with it, then yeah, go ahead and Google it, but give it a shot without it at first. And also, don't farm items or money. Every game has that one location that you can go to farm, XP, money, or something like that. Just avoid that. Go take out an enemy camp instead. And now moving on to the third part, something new. I feel like everyone has something that they skip over in a game, whether it's a game mechanic, a location in the game, or just some other aspect to it that they haven't really dived into. Find whatever it is and jump right into it. For me, it's going to be getting all the monster medals. You get them after killing each boss of the same type, like killing the 4 different Madulgas, and the 40 different Taluses in the game. And for other games, there might be something different. It might not just be killing stuff. It could be, hey, I haven't explored this region of the game. Or hey, there's this game mechanic, for Kingdom Hearts. I never use summons, so maybe next time I play, I'll try to focus using summons more. Yeah, just try to find something that you haven't done or explored or used, and go do it. There's nothing else holding you back about that. Unless if it's an absolutely garbage thing that you want to avoid, then, maybe skip past it. And I will say, part 4 is the easiest of all the parts to this, and that is something you like. Find something small that you like doing across any game, and just do it to the best you can. For me, I love collecting all the armor pieces. Even if I'm never ever going to use it or wear it and it's completely pointless, I'll still buy the entire set just to have it in my inventory. For my first run of Elden Ring, I have almost every armor piece in existence, except for the ones you have to farm for, because they have terrible drop rates. And for Zelda, my goal is to collect all of them. And yes, this includes the Barbarian and Phantom Armor. I'm just not going to use them. So I'm going to collect all of them and try to look the absolute coolest I can. Because every Souls gamer, looking cooler equals doing more damage, which is an absolute fact. And, for some games that don't have armor, maybe I'll collect different weapons or something like that. It's just a matter of finding something that you enjoy doing and, doing it the best you can. Now, the last part of this whole system is very specific to each person, and it is what I call avoid like the plague. Everyone has something that they absolutely hate doing, no matter what it is. And, it might be the same across games. Maybe there's a certain area in one game in particular that you hate doing. Whatever it is, if it's optional, give it a try at first. If you still absolutely hate it, skip past it. If it's required, same thing. Give it a shot at first. But if you still absolutely hate it and want to stop playing the game, then I will say, ignore everything I said in the restrictions part of this and just get past it as soon as possible, grab all the OP stuff, start farming some weapon or whatever, and use whatever you have to kill the thing and get past it. Zelda is a bad example for this because there's nothing in particular I truly hate doing. So I'm going to give another Elden Ring example. Fire Giant and Godskin Duo. My god, these are the worst fights in existence. Especially since I'm playing on my PS5 too, which makes the frames not that good. So, grab whatever you can. Grab whatever OP item you have. Get all the bleed in existence, Scarlet Rot, Sleep, whatever you have to do. Kill the bosses and run past as fast as you can. And then, just get rid of the OP stuff afterwards. And that is pretty much it for this part. But I will say, this is only for stuff that you truly hate doing. But you still should give it a try at first. Because maybe you've changed, maybe you've gotten better at the game. Maybe there's some new strategy that you've thought of that could work. But yeah, give it a try first. But still, if you truly hate it with all your being, then just kill it as soon as you can. Use whatever glitches you got. And that's pretty much it for all the parts. Now, what I've said might not apply to the game you're playing. Different games have different game styles, game mechanics, or you personally have a different play style. Because what I've said are mostly open world games. So if you're playing a more linear game, or like Pokemon or something, choose something else. Change the rules however you see fit. And also don't be afraid of change stuff mid-game. If you find that something's not working, or if there's some other thing that you just thought of that should also be restricted, or if you find out that you just absolutely hate something. So far, I'm about halfway through all my goals in Zelda. I'm on the 3rd Divine Beast right now, and I've gotten a good chunk of the armor sets and some of the other stuff, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm not absolutely breezing through every boss just because I'm using some OP gimmick or equipment, and I'm having a great time. I'm falling in love with the game again, truly enjoying it. And after this, I plan on doing it with some of my other games. I'll probably take a break from Zelda for a bit, do another game like Elden Ring or Kingdom Hearts, and then go back to Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, I'm going to try this out with all my other favorite games and see what changes I'll make to this whole process, and also the rules I've been setting for myself. See if I'll change it for any particular game. I plan on doing this with my other favorite games after this, like Elden Ring, Minecraft, Kingdom Hearts, Pokemon. After this, I'm going to give them a try, come up with my own set of rules for those games in particular, since they have a different playstyle and game mechanics, and give them a shot. Share your thoughts, your ideas that you've had about this, if you've had a similar experience or not, or if you know someone who has, and share this around. Maybe you have a friend that you didn't realize had a similar experience, and I'd love to hear how they get past this whole thing. And if you have any different ideas, different adjustments to my whole process to this, share them down below. I do read every comment, mostly because I only get 3 max per video, just because new channel, and not really new at this point, young channel. Yeah, share this around, give it a like, subscribe. It really does help and mean a lot to me, as I'm just trying to have fun with all this. But yeah, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a great day.